Every once in a while I like to do an exploration video. This is just to explore some area I want to explore, and in this case we're exploring the map of Nad Karai. Not fully, but we will be exploring a lot of it as well, and it's usually just an excuse to just travel around the place, find some cool stuff, and then chat with you guys at the same time too, and answer some questions. The one place we don't really go to today is like inside the facility, but we do see some stuff around it as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So I have Vanessa starting off today. I use Vanessa whenever I'm exploring, even though like it's not Natlan, and you know when she's exploring Natlan it's so fun. Still, having this is like a great thing. It's so fun. I love Vanessa as a character. So, the first question we got today is from, there's two questions actually. One from the one Gab, the other one is CDBX Gaming. And it says, you've been playing Genshin for almost 2 years. Do you feel any burnout at all? What keeps you motivated to play Genshin? And the other question is, are you still enjoying the game or the other Hoyo games without feeling burnout? And I thought I'd put these two questions together because I actually think it is an interesting question to ask. Should we get this chest over here? 100%, right? Yeah, so I have been playing Genshin for almost 2 years. In January, or is it? Yeah, at the end of January, it'll be 2 years then. This creature's so weird. What the hell? You're so weird. I have been playing for 2 years. And when I first played, I had no idea how long I would be playing for. Which kind of like, you know, is funny looking back now that like this is now in my top 5 favorite games of all time. Because there's no real way that I could have known it was going to be my top favorite games of all time. I almost forgot to do this combo. Lovely. I'm trying to think if there's any ever moment where I was like, oh, this is too much. And I don't think there was ever a moment. What's so crazy about it is when I was playing the original playthrough where we played basically 4 videos a week, there was a moment I think where I was like, where are we starting off here? We have to get some waypoints, obviously. So this one over here, and there's a boss over here, so that's actually perfect. Yeah, we can travel over there. I remember like legitimately when I first like was doing that playthrough and I was doing 4 Genshin videos a week. A lot of people were like, how is he not burnt out? Like after like, again, around 6 months or whatever. And what like happened was really, it was just like, there was like such a beautiful adrenaline that came from just like playing through this entire game. So when I was doing the original playthrough of Genshin, by the way, I chose Navi because I just remembered that like doing combos while talking probably is not the easiest thing in the world to do. There was such an adrenaline. Oh my God. Whoa, what is that? Is that a boss or no? There's just probably a regular enemy, but this is such a cool area. What the hell? These cave areas are so cool. But yeah, like there was such an adrenaline to playing like so many those episodes every week because what we had constantly as I was playing this fantastic game was like there was no game in my life like it. Like I would basically be like, okay, I'm going to play Genshin this week. What am I doing this week? Oh, you mean I'm doing like 2 Archon Quest videos and I'm finishing off an Archon Quest. Oh, you mean then I get to play an amazing story quest? Oh, and then I get to start like an amazing world quest? Like, there is nothing in my video game life that like I'd ever seen like this, that had this much like quality like stuff compared to the quantity that it was in. And like, I said that before with Genshin, it's like such an amazing thing, like how like, I'm able to like enjoy this to like such a great degree because like there's so much and like it was so amazing. And like I think it was one of those situations where like it was almost like when I look back now, like it's pretty crazy that like what we did. I know like it's not me being like, oh yeah, like what I was doing was amazing. You know, I'm not saying that, but like if you think about it, at the time we were recording Rome Reacts every week. We were also doing what's wrong with him? Why isn't he dying? Why is this guy dying? We were doing Rome Reacts every single week at that time. It was every week. We were then uploading 7 Let's Play videos a week. We were doing 4 Genshin videos a week. And also reading the Genshin manga. And I think at the time there was, you know, Genshin, like there was adrenaline from it. It was like, oh my God, oh, this is such a cool area too. And then it became a thing where I was like, when we caught up, I was like, okay, we're going to slow down to a little bit of a degree. We haven't slowed down completely, but it's like I want to slow down to a point where it's like, okay, there's no chance of me getting burnout, if there is. But yeah, I never felt burnout during the playthrough. But now when I look back, I'm like, how did I do 4? Because there were sometimes we were doing like a 4-hour story quest into like a 3-hour part of the Archon quest, into like a 4-hour world quest, and then another 2-hour story quest. And nowadays, like, I have this sense, I think, maybe, to be like, okay, I uploaded a 6-hour Genshin video. Like, that's, you know, sometimes good for the week. You know what I mean? No one's gonna complain that they got a 6-hour Genshin video and then you didn't upload another, you know, 3 hours the next day. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's one of those things where, like, it wasn't about people complaining. It was like, in my own mind, I was like, I have to keep the schedule to 4 videos a week. When in reality, people probably would have been like, we understand you uploaded, like, 2 4-hour videos. But it was an amazing time. Nowadays, it's like, I don't think I can feel burnout with this playthrough. Like, this game to me, like, is so special in its content rollout. And again, like, Honkai is the only other thing I have in my life that's similar to that. Like, there's nothing in my life that just feels so... Oh my god, you're incredible. Holy hell, look at you. But there's nothing in my life that gives me that feeling of, like, you know, that much quality stuff with that much of a quantity. And the quantity, you might say, like, well, quantity doesn't matter that much, is about quality. Yeah, 100%. But, like, I think it's also the fact that when I'm playing this game, like, there's a genuine, like feeling of, like nowadays, I mean, when I kind of caught up of, like, oh my god, what are they going to do next? I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. And then an update is announced, and, like, I get excited. Where'd you go? Oh, hey. This is like a heavenly creature. I get excited rather than I do go, oh, I'm like, more, you know? And if I ever get to a point where I'm like, you know, like it's too much or something like that. Look at this freaking move this guy is. This is a really cool boss. If there ever is like a time where I get, you know, I feel like it's too much, or like it's like I've been, you know, feeling, you know, that it's, oh, this is like, and there's a lot too many updates or whatever like that, then of course I think I would, like, obviously, like, be like, okay, let's take a little bit of a break. But right now, like, I'm having so much fun. Like, I'm having so much fun. And every update, I'm like, oh my god, I get to play this now as well. Like, I'm gonna be doing Durin story quests very soon. Like, it's hard not to just feel so excited all the time. And, like, well, this music is really awesome too. And, like, here's the thing, I've no doubt, like, you know, that, like, you know, people tell me about Genshin burnout all the time and stuff like this too. And I think what does help for me as well is that on this channel, we don't just play Genshin, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's one of those situations where, like, I have, like, and I'm just gonna sound like I'm not trying to be like, I have this very unique perspective where, like, I'm the only one who plays, you know, like, a lot of people play multiple stuff, but I think a lot of people are, like, a lot of Genshin YouTubers, they play Genshin and then they, like, you know, don't do a lot other than that. But yeah, it's one of those situations where, like, after I play Genshin today, I'm playing Ace Attorney, you know what I mean? After I play, I didn't need this, but we'll take it. After I play Ace Attorney, I'm playing some Dispatch. You know, there's like never really a pure chance completely. The way that bosses was summoned is really cool of getting burnout. And I guess, like, the answer is, like, it's just, I'm still excited for every update. I still think that the updates are so cool. I still love seeing the new regions and seeing the new characters. And again, you're talking about someone as well who loves story quests and, like, loves doing world quests, even though I haven't done a lot of world quests in Nod Karai, unfortunately. The answer is, it's hard for me to feel burnout when every update is still very exciting to me, even, like, the smallest ones. Like, when I hear, like, in my Patreon chat, someone says, like, there's going to be an event where you get to, like, and I'm making this up, an event where you get to, like, dance with, you know, Vaan at the crosswalk. I'm like, that should just sound exciting. I'm trying to think of something that sounds, like, very, like, not totally exciting. There's gonna be an event where you get to, like, everything I think of, that's what I'm talking about. Like, these characters are so amazing and get you to that. Like, I was like, there's gonna be an event where you do pottery with Candace. That sounds incredible. Like, I'm trying to think of something that wouldn't be incredible. There's a math puzzle, you know. See, again, even though I don't like math, right? Even though I'm not a fan of math, like, if it's a math thing that, like, Farazan is trying to teach us math, that sounds fun as well. That's the answer. I can't think of something that would suck. I can't think of a quest in this game that would make me not want to play it. And that's probably the answer. I just don't feel, and again, I do think that, like, I did probably, like, you know, preserve a lot of my potential to have burnout by playing Honkai, by playing other games still, by, you know, some weeks, you know, only uploading, say, one Genshin video if it's a super long one and stuff like that too, 100%. But that's pretty much, yeah, I don't feel that burnout, honestly. I just don't. I'll tell you, and if I ever do, I'll tell you guys. I'll definitely tell you guys, 100%. Thank you for the question. Okay, so I stopped recording for a second because I had to do something, but then when I came back, I forgot to press record for like 2 minutes, and I got this waypoint over here. Okay, the question we're getting here today, and I'll start my answer again, is from Dwight's Ghost, and it's, what do you think of Columbina's character as a whole? Many people were disappointed in how her character turned out throughout their story, but I personally really love her character. I also killed some Fatui members over here, by the way, I think. Yeah, just over here. So, I actually think that Columbina's character arc is one of the best character arcs in all of Genshin. I am so passionate about this idea of a character who like didn't really fully understand the idea of love and understand how much love she probably had in her life. Slowly kind of realized, it was slowly realized like that, like, you know, her heart was opening up and that there's people out there that care about her. I think Aether has like such a good way of like getting characters who would usually open up. And that's like one of the things like is so fun about that whole arc there. But like, yeah, Columbina's arc to me is up there with Vaan and Farina and all these amazing characters that like I would say have like such amazing character arcs. And it's not over yet, because the thing is like with a character arc is that usually like there's a beginning, middle, and an end. But when it comes to all these characters, and we've seen that like just recently, like they added to the character arc of Vaan as well, you know, and that's why I feel like you can never truly judge a character until it's all over. Because one of the issues is that like the character arcs don't. I'm worried that these little yellow things are like World Quest stuff, so you can see me kind of being like, okay, I'll get it soon. Maybe at some stage. In Genshin, character arcs aren't over until it's over. It's not over till it's over. And that's one of the most important things. Like, because again, it's like, as you said, they added to Vaughn's character arc. But yeah, Columbina's character arc, if you even wrote it down on paper of just being like a character who like only believes in like reciprocal relationships, you know, only believes in like reciprocal relationships, believes that she's not truly loved. You know, when she was with when she came, you know, someone who wasn't named, someone who didn't have a name even, that was to call their own, and always felt like they weren't a part of this world that Teyvat was rejecting. They're a character who was worshipped as a god basically, but felt like, again, they weren't truly appreciated. They were only kind of like this greedy thing where people were constantly asking her to do things, where she felt like the only way she was going to get a home here is if she kept doing stuff for people. How do you do this again? Oh, like this? Yeah, that's the only way she felt like she was going to get stuff, is by doing stuff for these people. And in the Fatui, she felt the same way. She went to the Fatui Harbingers and she was waiting, and like how awful that must have been, by the way, waiting every day for the pin to drop. When are they going to ask me to do this thing? When are they going to ask me to do something? When are they going to ask me to repay this favor? And like, while like, you know, it's like we can say, well, like, how did she not realize that some of those characters loved her? Like when you are kind of like down on yourself and you're kind of like, you know, anxious about something, or you're constantly thinking about something like as well, we're like, oh, when are they going to ask me to do something? You know, when am I going to have to repay this? What am I going to have to do? That consumes your whole life, I would say. So not realizing, you know, that she is loved by some of the characters here, like, you know, Rosaline, the Knave, and all these characters doesn't surprise me. Oh, is this a World Quest USP one? Nash Town's got some like, maybe they know something, let's ask them. So it's like this seems like a World Quest to do with like, oh cool, okay, it is World Quest. Yeah, and then like that's why she shut herself away. She shut herself away because she didn't want to like have to deal with the world. She didn't want to have this idea of reciprocal relationships anymore, even though that's what she believed in, because that's what relationships were to her. And we saw with Aether coming into her life, opened up her heart, and like what I love about her character as well is not only just like you saw her slowly opening up, like even and they didn't do it like right away. They had Aether even earlier on like still do the reciprocal relationship stuff with her, because they didn't want to make it, you know, so fast, and obviously she felt awkward about it. But over time, she was able to do stuff without looking for something in return, and accept stuff without looking for something in return. And accept stuff without people looking for something in return. And she slowly realized, even when Llama was like, you know, no, we want you to be safe regardless of how much you help us. She was slowly realizing how people cared about her. And she retroactively then was able to like open her heart from the past too, because like Aether helped lift that fog, and she was able to look back and be like, oh, Columbina really cared about me. The Knave cared about me. I never realized this fully. but they really did care about me. She was able to study other people's relationships. And then even the thing is, like, you know, when she was fading away, she realized how much people cared about her then and how much people were willing to do for her then. Then she saw, you know, the Nagkarai festival, how much people were willing to do for her there as well. She realized she had a place. And that's why she was saying it's difficult to leave now ever since, like, she realized that she has a home here as well. Like, it's so interesting to have a character that is literally fading away from the world because they feel like they don't have a place on this planet. Slowly get a place on this planet, then to be named, to have, by the way, the same name, obviously, with her own name. Like, I think it's such a brilliant part of her story, too. The idea of, like, how she has, like, a name that has been used, people used to call her Columbina, which is like, that's Columbina. And it gave a new meaning to the name Columbina, which before it was like, that's Columbina, but, that's Columbina, but it had a different meaning. It was not the Columbina she knows now. But now that her friends utilize that name and say that name, the name Columbina has been given new meaning for Columbina. And that's such a beautiful aspect as well. Yeah, a character who, like, slowly opened up their heart
As you wish,
for the people of Nagkarai and Aether and all this stuff. And then her character arc isn't over, but, like, it's really well written in a very depressing way what Genshin did at the end of her character arc. Which is, it's not the end, by the way, the current cliffhanger of her character arc. And that is a character who finally finds their place on the earth, is about to leave and go home, while also realizing they have so many like, people that are going to miss them, but are still happy they got to meet them on the earth, on Tevat, and they get effed over by Dottore. And Genshin knows this. That's why Dottore is such a great villain. They know that they, you know, when they did this, they know it was going to be absolutely, where is this? I guess we could activate this because that will show us Raiden Moonfly. Yeah, it's going to be here. Yeah, like, such good stuff. Such good stuff. I'm really, like, impressed by Columbina's character. I think as an arc, if you just wrote it down on a piece of paper, everyone would realize how, like, well done this is. It's, like, one of the coolest slower burns, while also, like, they did it in a way where you could see the seeds for change constantly, and it was so heartwarming to see the change in her, and so emotional, and yeah, it all made sense too. The next question is from Lemon K4H, and also the same kind of question came from Popsicle Cloud, which says first of all, Lemon said, how should Dottore be executed? And then Popsicle said, we finally got the Durn and Wanderer reunion we wished for, yes. So now is there an update on how much worse you wish to end Dottore? Would love to hear it more again, as the script of YouTube permits. I've always wanted Dottore to meet his end. And, you know, this is probably what Popsicle is referring to as well, and Lemon, you know, as well, like, is referring to too. Oh my god, look at this. The way they summon bosses here are so amazing. So cool. I've always had, like, a big hatred for Dottore. Oh my god, so cool! It's like a fighting Pokemon or something. That's awesome. Yes, it's really awesome. I've always wanted, like, Dottore to meet his end, and he's, like, one of those characters that, like, people say, like, you love to hate him, and, like, yeah, like, it's one of those, like, I don't know what it is, because I know he's a well-written villain. I know he's a, you know, like, one of the most fantastic overarching villains I've played. Oh my god, look at this thing. That's quite terrifying. It's really cool as boss. I know he's a fantastic villain. I know he's amazing. I know he makes the story stronger. I know he, like, makes things, like, you know, more interesting. But if Genshin said, actually, you know, like, you're gonna get to, you know, just kill him right away, like, I'd also be like, yeah, hell yeah, you know? And I think it's just, like, maybe also a good side of a good villain is like, you know, if you're watching a TV show and a good villain is, and you're going against this villain, or your main character is going against this villain, and the villain gets out of, like, I don't know why we keep accepting this stuff, but why not? The villain gets out of your, look at this area too with the waterfall. It's so pretty. Can we climb? We can't climb up there, can we? No. We're not fighting yet, no. No, I'm going over here. Oh, I think we can go up here. That's so cool. He's like, aw. Okay, I'll be this then. But yeah, like, that's a sign of a good villain, is watching a TV show and being like, oh, please, no, he got away again. Oh my god, what? What I want, my dream for Dottore, I've said it in the video before, this is such a beautiful place, holy hell. Such a gorgeous place. What I said my dream for Dottore is it's been something I wanted to happen from the beginning, but it might change over time. Oh, that's so cool, you can go by here too. there's going to be a battle, a big battle at some point. I know there will be. It's going to be like full-scale war. I think they're going to even try and replicate the something that's similar to the Cataclysm again. And I think Dottore's going to be reveling in this. I think Dottore's going to be there like, you know, like, haha, no, look at this. This is beautiful. I'm finally going to be able to enact my plan. I think there's going to be a moment where everyone's trying to work together to stop whatever's happening. So it's people from all regions. He comes face to face with Kale. I don't want him to be face to face with Kale, but judging by how Genshin does things, they're not going to shy away from making you feel uncomfortable. They're not going to shy away from making you feel upset. He's going to be face to face with Kale. And no, by the way, I'm saying this right now. This is my head canon. I'm not saying this is actually going to happen, but this is what I would like. This is how I would do it, right? Again, and you're probably like, Calvin, then you're making us feel uncomfortable. 100%. But I'm judging it based off like how Genshin does things. You know, Genshin has no problem making us feel a bit like uncomfortable. But yeah, where's the next waypoint we can go to? I guess the one up here? Actually, we should start here at the Amber Lake, which is a beautiful place. But yeah, he's going to be face-to-face with Kale. He's going to be an absolute arsehole about it. This is such a beautiful place as well. Anakai is so gorgeous. He's going to be face-to-face with Kale. Look at even under the like little natural bridge here. And we're going to be there too. And so is like Amber. So is like a bunch of like, and everyone's going to like, you know, actually defeat him. He's going to be there coughing his guts up. Like still laughing because it's Dottore. There's no way like he's going to be defeated and just be like, you know, he's going to be laughing even when he's like on the ground busted up. He's going to be still trying. Dottore is the type of character where I think even when if you broke both his legs, he's going to crawl to his objective. You know, that's the type of character he is. This is such a cool place. Like the way the purple sparkles in the water. And Kale's going to be like, you know, do we have to... And actually, like, I would even like to have... I think it would be better to even have Tanari be like, we have to end this guy. And Amber's being like, yeah, like, we're going to have to do it. And then Kale, like, starts to take out her bow, and the characters go like, no. You do not have to do this. And it's right. She doesn't have to do it. Nobody has to do it. And as Tanari's moving towards Dottore to do it. Or Sino would be better, actually. Sino would make more sense, wouldn't it? Out of nowhere... Dust settles. Vaan stomps Dottore through the dirt to the point that he's just gone. He's dust. And then, like, it's one of those things where, like, no one talks about it ever again. And when you try to talk to Vaan about it later, Vaan kind of goes like, look, it's the last thing on my list that I have to do. You know what I mean? It's not exactly something that Nihida would like me to do, but I told her it's something I had to do, and even Nihida understood, like sometimes you have to do stuff that, you know, even she disagrees with.
What a stroke of good luck.
And then he kind of says, like, look, I'll be fine. I now have people around me that will support me. But he says it in a very Vaan way, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm not exactly alone, you know? Like, he says it like that. Or like, it's not like you guys are ever going to leave me alone. You know, you're never going to let me be. Never gonna let me relax, something like that, and you're like, we're all gonna like just die. That's the way I would want it to happen in some way. And you know, people might be like, well, do you want Vaan to like kill? Yeah, like 100%. It's not about like I think Kale is just a different type of character. I'm not saying, and again, you know, people might be like, well, so it's good enough for Vaan, but not for Kale. And I think like that's a totally like you guys know too. You can imagine Vaan doing it and not Kale, right? Like it's not just me who thinks this, right? Can't be just me. But yeah, that's like the way I would like do it. I think also like having like yes, you can have him stomp into the ground, but I want a moment like before that where Vaan owns Dottore verbally. You know what I mean? Where he makes Dottore feel stupid. Where and before that, someone needs to make Dottore like shake. Someone needs to make Dottore scared. And I think like, you know, like the best way you could do that is to have like a moment where like Mavuika nearly destroys him, or like he's face to face with Columbina. Because and that's the thing now, that was my original thing, but now that Columbina is also someone who's been punished in a big way by him too, I do think like it's like, you know, Columbina, you know, Kale, Vaan face to face with him, and I think I want Columbina to make him shake. I want Vaan to be the one to do it, and I want Kale to like, you know, understand that like this guy's gone. That's what I want. Okay, I probably like went into detail on something that like, you know, is probably like, you know, more of a funny question, but it's just he's a well-written character that I want gone. There's no other way to put it, honestly. This is such a cool area with all the different like cracks in the mountains and stuff, I guess, too. It's really cool. The user here's their username is Hello. It says, what were your initial thoughts on Scaramouche and how did you like his character development? A lot of people understand you weren't a fan about Genshin Handler's arc with Irmisol and stuff, but it felt in the moment for him, it felt quite in character. What are your thoughts on that? I think what they were trying to do with Vaan's character was showcase two things. How impactful the stuff with Irmisol can be, but also, like, they were trying to show how manipulative Dottore can be and how effed the mind of Vaan was at one point. For me, like, when we look, I don't want destroying you, but okay, let's go. To me, like, when I first learned, you know, when you see Vaan's character and you read about Vaan's character and you read about the Kabukimono and all that stuff, right? Like, you learn that Vaan was, like, not just a character who had a life, but he was, like, he danced and he partied. He had, like, a good time with all these people. He found places that he loved. He was abandoned originally, no longer wanted. But he had, like, more than a life. It wasn't just a situation where he was surviving. He was thriving. And Dottore used his manipulation, his, you know, mental gymnastics in a way to, like, make him feel less than, make him feel horrible, to the point that his mind was broken. And then, of course, the stuff that happened with his, like, his, you know, his friend, the little child he, like, you know, found as well afterwards. Like, Dottore mixed with all the horrible stuff that was happening, and of course, Dottore was one of the reason for it. Like, him losing his life and losing his love and everything he had felt passionate about. Like, Vaan went from a dancing Kabukimono that people, like, really liked and respected and loved, to being a character who believed that, like, basically, like, the idea of love wasn't real. That, like, he had no support and no one would ever support him again, so who cares? Who cares about this world? To the point that he became, like, a brutal character who, like, was almost sadistic in some ways. Who's torn apart emotionally. To the point that, and again, what they did with his character arc, and it's not done yet, his character arc's not done. What they did with his character arc was so incredible because he then, as soon as he found out that all his views on the world were false, and the stuff he had done was horrible, and we've talked about this a million times, by the way, like, it is horrible. Look at the shadows in the distance of Sumeru and Fontaine. It's so cool. You can see the Fontaine city from here. It's so awesome. But yeah, like, understandably what he did was honestly horrible. And I've said it a million times over, by the way, because I think, like, you know, I have no problem saying this. Sometimes I will get comments being like, so you punish this character, but you love Vaan? And it's like one of those situations where, like, I've called out Vaan and what he did. I even said, you can go back in videos, I've said that, like, if Kazuha tomorrow decided he wanted to fight and beat the living crap out of Vaan, right? Like, and Vaan said this too, it's like, can you blame him? No, you can't. Of course you can. But here's the situation. Vaan wanted to erase himself after everything that happened. Where's the next waypoint, by the way? It's over here. Vaan wanted to erase his life after everything had happened. Actually, yeah, we'll go over that one after this as well. He wanted to get rid of himself. He didn't want to be part of this world anymore. Because this music's so gorgeous, oh my god, he realized how horrible life had been for, how he made for other people. How all the decisions he made that he thought were righteous. And I want to make that clear, he thought that everything he did was righteous and was good. He thought everything he did was justifiable. But it wasn't. And he wanted to erase himself. Now, the crazy thing about the Vaan arc as well is that when he joined up with Nahida, Nahida didn't say, hey, everything's okay now. Look at this as well. It's so neat, isn't it? Nahida didn't say, like, hey, everything's like, oh my god, look at these guys standing over the moon as well. So pretty. Nahida didn't say, oh yeah, everything's okay now, everything's cool. She said you're going to have to work hard to progress forward. You're going to have to work hard. Now, I understand for some people that might be like, you know, Calvin, like, you know, excuses everything Vaan ever did. There are people that haven't watched the full playthrough, which is fine. Like, you know, no one has to watch the full play. I'm worried about these little yellow things. I don't know what they are, which is fine. You don't have to watch the full playthrough, but I think also then, like, you know, making assumptions about, like, my opinion is also, like, very, like, you know, okay. Like, it's like, I haven't seen your full opinion. And then people might argue, well, Calvin, you can really expect someone to watch, like, 270 episodes to get your opinion. And I totally get that, too. But I feel like it's totally fair for me to push back and be like, well, like, if Genshin is a story that, like, is overarching over the course of, like, thousands of hours, then, like, you can't really get someone's full opinion just by watching one quest. That would be like, you know, watching someone play The Last of Us Part 2 for an hour and then being like, oh, that's his opinion on the entire game. You know what I mean? Which is not really how it works. Whoa, look at that. But yeah, like, I'm not salty about that. I just, like, think it's one of those things where, like, I think I have a right to always explain, like, hey, like, no, that's not how I feel about this. But yeah, I think even, like, you know, some people were kind of like, you know, used to, you know, were like, yeah, like, they understand, and the majority of people understand my feelings of Vaan too. But yeah, he's a character now that is still, like, working towards stuff. He's learning stuff. He's going to the academia. He's helping people. He's saved our life multiple times since then. Like, he saved multiple people's lives. He's helping the heat out constantly. And now as well, in my opinion, the best thing that he's done since then is he's trying to prevent... What is this? He's trying to prevent anything from happening to Durin. And this is legitimately... What is this? Oh, it's a world quest. Okay. But still very pretty. Still very cool to know there is, like, some stuff here as well. Maybe that's actually related to the lightning around here. Maybe it's actually scripted. But yeah, like, he understands that... I don't even think he's thinking about this, but he wants to prevent this. He helped Durin out. He saved Durin. He wants Durin to not turn out like he did in that moment. And he wants Durin to realize he actually has people that loved him. Because the reason why he went down his path is because he thought that nobody loved him. Whether that be the Raiden Shogun, whether that be, you know, the world itself, whether that be, you know, the people that the fishermen or whatever, the people that he, like, used to hang out with as well, like that troop of people. Like, he thought that nobody actually loved him anymore. Are these all world quests as well? What is this? Again, luckily we're not doing world quests today, we're doing exploration anyway. This is such a pretty place, so yeah. So to me, like, his arc is still going on. I think his arc is amazing. I think, like, it's one of those things where, like, look at the fog even here as well. I think that if you come into this, you know, into the Vaan story and just see it as, you know, Vaan got forgiven completely, I feel like that, like, you know, is not the right way to go. And again, there's no right or wrong way to interpret it, so I know that. But I'm saying that for me personally, the way I interpret it is not that it wasn't a story of forgiveness. It's a story of painful steps forward. I think that's what Vaan is still doing. And we're not done with Vaan. And Vaan's story is still ongoing. Vaan's story is still going to come again. Vaan's story is still going to be growing. He hasn't even fully, like, because if he felt like he fully did everything that he could to, you know, be quote unquote, like, you know, and I don't think it's redemption either. I don't think Vaan is looking for, like, redemption. And you guys, like, would probably agree to it. He's not looking for redemption. He's a character who is like, look at the Muslim King Desert. I feel like he's a character just trying to find a way to move forward in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't used the word redemption. You know what I mean? He hasn't used the word, like, redemption for his own story. He is just trying to put his best foot. Look at that. That's so cool. It's kind of scary, but it's kind of cool at the same time too. But yeah, that's what I think about Vaan's story. I think it's still ongoing, and I think it's incredible. And I think if you see it, like, less as a redemption story and more as a just trying to put your best foot forward story, it becomes even better. Katarina Muse says, every region has their specific unique exploration quirks. Kuhenki and Kuvaki related, Traversal and Nalkarai, Saurian and Phlogiston Nalan, underwater swimming and Ark and Fontaine. Which are your favorites? Which region you wish you could explore for the first time again? In terms of exploration stuff, like, I would say, like, my least favorite was, like, the Inazuma stuff. Not because, again, I love Inazuma so much, but I think it was more just because, like, it was a bit clunky sometimes. It was like, and it wasn't too bad sometimes. Like, it was still, like, all right, but I feel like sometimes it was, like, not utilized fully all the time, and I didn't realize how, like, you know,
What a stroke of good luck.
not as smooth it was until I went to, like, Sumeru, and I was like, oh, Sumeru's, like, exploration is so fun, you know? And then, like, you know, I think second to none when it comes to exploration is Nalan. Like, just end of. Like, for me personally, like, the Nalan exploration is so creative, it's so fun. Everything about it just makes me want to explore, whether it's, like, running around the place with Varesa, you know, roaming on the water with Mulani, Spider-Manning stuff with Kinich. Like, there's, like, all these exploration methods in Nalan that, like, when I think, like, to the point that, like, I would say that, like, I miss it. I miss, like, the exploration methods of Nalan. And while, like, Kuhenki and stuff is, like, cool and stuff it gets to, I don't think it compares to this. I don't think it compares to Nalan. And I think that's like, you know, people have their problems with Nalan, and everyone's like allowed to have their own opinions. For me, like, I love Nalan so much. There's something so special about Nalan to me. I still think about it all the time. Okay, we're not fighting. Come out here. Come here. Come on. Come on. I'm not doing that. Come on. Here. Come here. There's a pet peeve for you guys. If anyone wants to know that. Characters just going into places I can't fight them. Which again is gonna happen in an open world game that's like, you know, constantly moving. You know, the world is like always there. Of course, there's gonna be things like that. It's impossible to not have things like that. But yeah, Nalan's exploration is so fun. To the point that like I feel like, you know, with Nalan, you could just choose a spot in Nalan and just jump off a spot in Nalan and fly around the place as Kaniche. You know what I mean? You can run up walls with some characters, with the, you know, Kachina. Like, you can ride around a freaking motorcycle. You can like do all this really fun, amazing stuff. And that's, I think, one of my worries about. And it's not a worry because it's not going to be a deal breaker. Is that true? Look, the crystal was not glowing all. How many world quests are in this game? Probably 20,000. But it's really beautiful. It is really, really pretty. I kind of want to get close to the water area just to see if we can jump in there. There's like a fisherman over there. Let me tell you about stuff. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, my answer would be Nalan. It's second to none. I got to a point where, like, when I finished Nalan, that was my biggest worry was like, oh, are we gonna have fun ever again with like this? And we did. Like, the Hanky stuff is still fun, and like the transferring to different places to places is so fun. Whoa, man, that's so scary, isn't it? How deep does that go? But then again, I think of like Fontaine, and swimming is really fun too. But I had to, like, if I had to give a definitive answer, it is Nalan. And yeah, it's not like this thing is gonna be a deal breaker. We don't have Nalan stuff, but like, I don't know how they'll ever like top it. I don't know how they ever can. They made probably the most fun exploration in, like, you know. And I would say, here's the thing: Veresa's way Veresa moves around the world is a top 10 traversal thing for me in the entire video game world. Not just Genshin, video games for Veresa stuff. It's so incredible to me. I love that stuff so much. In terms of a region I'd like to go back again and explore first time, it would be every single one of them. If you asked me to choose one, exactly one, here's the thing. My favorite region, I think, overall in terms of story is Fontaine. I think the story in Fontaine is incredible. My favorite in music is Liyue, right? But if you want me to say, like, realistically, like, what one region I'd love to explore for the first time again, the answer is probably, like, Mondstadt. Like, because while, like, I think the other worlds are better in terms of the locations and things that you find and things like this too, and, like, beautiful locations, stuff like this too, there's something like that can't be matched when it comes to, you know, exploring Mondstadt, like, for the first time. All those little nooks and crannies, seeing all this stuff here as well. It's like, oh my god, this is incredible. So yeah, I would speak Mondstadt for my exploration thing. Sleepyhead asks, what's my favorite character of each element? Now, this is actually post-recorded because I wanted to give an answer to this that I feel like, you know, was actually accurate. Because genuinely, it's one of those things where, like, I had to think about it. Because at first I was like, I could totally answer that, so I added it to the list. And I was like, wait a second. That's a lot of characters. So I have my list of characters that are my favorite characters from each element. So for kind of like Earth, Rock, Crystal, Stone, Stony. For Stony, it's Navia, of course. Pyro, Hutao, and Amber. Hydro would be Farina. Animo would be Vaan and Xiao. Ice would be Citlali, or Fremine, or Eula. I'd say Citlali is my favorite of the three, personally. Dendro would be Kale and Kave. If I had to choose one, it'd probably be Kale, but I love Kave. And it's so funny because, like, I thought Animo would be the hardest to pick my favorites, but it turns out that, like, Electro, and that's actually really cool, by the way, about the lantern. It's a really cool idea. It showcases that someone was here at one point. But yeah, Electro is actually something that it was actually harder to pick, so I'll show you the ones that I think are amazing from Electro. Yaimiko. They're all amazing, but the ones that are my favorites. Yaimiko, Sino, Fischl, Varesa. Those are the four. Now, if I had to choose just one, I think I'd probably end up like eating dirt, because I don't know. It's really difficult to choose between these characters. Like, I would say Sentimentality goes to Fischl. My favorite to play is Varesa.
What a stroke of
my
good
favorite open 60 chest there as well. One of the funniest, the most charming characters is Sino, and then like a character that just like honestly like I love seeing all the time, and you know like is kind of very like strong as a character, really strong as a character. G.I. Miko. I guess I choose Fischl just because of that sentimentality of like she's like one of my earliest like okay this character is amazing, and one of the earliest characters that was like a backbone of my team as well. That's my answer to those questions. Orion 4700 says, Genshin characters are known for the unique dynamic with one another, and even in the most unexpected combinations can make an interesting story. I personally love the dynamic between the Simulanka cast. If Genshin were to have another summer event in the future, which characters would you like to meet and interact this time? It's funny because like with Genshin, like every single character I feel like could have a great dynamic with each other. I feel like you could put two characters together and just have them have like a great dynamic no matter what. And that's like a real, I keep clicking on this over here, by the way. That's like a real strength in Genshin. It's an unbelievable strength to have something like that and to have a set of characters like that. So when I think about it, like, I'm trying to think of like say a few characters that would be great. Because again, for the summer event coming up, there's also the Lantern Rite coming up as well of characters that are going to interact with each other. This is so gorgeous too, all this pink stuff here. A little bit like weird, like the color. It makes it feel kind of like, I don't know, otherworldly, but still pretty. In terms of a dynamic, I think that like we're long overdue for seeing like Citlali interact with more people outside of Nod Karai. I think that Citlali in Mondstadt would be one of the most fun things I'd ever seen. Because of course they have like, you know, they love drinking, they love like having a good time. I think like Citlali hanging out with like the Mondstadt crew would be like a treat, an absolute treat. Just, you know, can you imagine like Citlali sitting in like, you know, the pub in Mondstadt talking to Diluc as Diluc is trying to like, you know, calm her down a little bit. Or I think Diluc is probably used to drugs at this point though as well, and people drinking. Where's the next waypoint? We might not be able to get every waypoint here, but we'll try and get as much as possible because these ones are probably harder to get. So we might get the ones outside here. Because how do you even get these waypoints? Is it inside the Fatui stronghold? Is that where it is? Maybe? We'll see if we can find a way to get these waypoints, if not. But yeah, that would be such a fun interaction to have, like, Citlali with other Mondstadt crew as well. Citlali just in general, like, having her interact with more characters would be, like, a really fun thing. There's one over here, anyway. Trying to think of other dynamics that I would want to see. Wait, is there one in the... Oh, there's one over here. Okay. Yeah. Well, I obviously, like, with Nod Karai characters coming up as well, like, I think I know, like, I know, like, it's like, oh, because they're both babies, but I think it'd be very funny to see, like, a Nefa babysit Klee and Aino. I think it'd be so funny if I was like, hey, Nefa, can you take care of Klee? And then, like, you know, even though Aino doesn't feel like she's, like, you know, she gets babied by Nefa, but it's like, you can see, like, you know, them, like, Klee, like, trying to convince Aino to, like, do some, like, blowing up of, like, some fish, and then having, like, Aino, like, you know, Aino has, like, an angry streak as well. I don't know, I think it'd be really fun and cute dynamic between them as well. I'm trying to think of more non-Karai character interactions I'd love. Flynn's and Auroran. And I think, you know, there's, like, you know, you say, well, there's the gothic vibe. 100% is the gothic vibe. But also, like, I do think that they would, like, you know, I think Flint is so charming that, like, he would definitely, like, get along well. Oh my god, oh yeah, it's down below. Oh yeah, I remember this whole thing. Yeah, it's very cool stuff. That I feel like he would get along with, like, most characters, but, like, I feel like it'd be really cool to see him with Auroran as well. Because I feel like, you know, Flint is so charming and so gentle and so patient that Auroran would be making jokes that, and, like, Flint would just be like, oh, that's a good one. Or you might take it very seriously, you know? I also think that as well, like, if Flynn's talked to Fischl, I feel like it'd be a stunlock situation. Whereas, you know, usually, like, you know, people, like, would just, like, pretend to go along with Fischl stuff because they really like Fischl and they go along with the script or whatever. But I think Flint is, like, such, like, a classical, like, Shakespearean type of, like, gentleman type thing that, like, I feel like he'd just be, like, saying, like, really lovely stuff. Like, Fischl would be saying stuff about being a princess and Flint would be like, of course, and this is this and this is that. And you'd have, like, you know, so instead of someone following the script, they'd just, like, literally just be like, wow, this person's amazing. I think that'd be really fantastic too. Other non-Karai character interactions. I think Nefer and Yaimiko for some reason. I don't know why I'm climbing up here. Maybe there's a better way to get up to this. Oh. course. Never not Yamiko. Just because I feel like it would be like a stale... Actually, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I think all Yamiko would have to do is be like, oh, your girlfriend Llama, huh? And then like, Nevers would be like, maybe like... But I think Never, like, is able to, like, you know, bite back as well, so it would be, like, a really interesting, like, way of seeing them interact with each other. I think, like, you know, the idea would become best friends with mortal enemies. You know, there's no in between for those two characters. Yehoda, like, I think would, like, get along so well with all the characters in Mondstadt too. But I think, like, mostly I think she'd get along with Amber and Yoimiya. I think her and Yoimiya would have... So I think, like... It would take a little bit of time to, like, get into the relationship with each other, but, like, I think, like, her and Yoimiya would actually have, like, a really great time together. Yeah. I know I'm just trying to do non-karai characters right now, but I think this is, like, you know, it's actually quite fun to think of the non-karai characters. Is it up there, man? How do we do all this? How do we get to these places? I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to get to these places today, because this seems like it's something that, like, I'd have to, like, go through the non-karai facilities. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Like, we don't have to, like, I can go down into the pit here and see if, like, there's anything I can do there, but... Look at this, man. It's so impressive what they did here. Unless there's a way to go through it from here. We can try again up here. Yeah. Look, what I might do is I might leave this just because I'm not sure exactly how to, like, travel through the facility, and it would just be very awkward answering questions. Yeah. So we'll leave that just for today, and then I'll maybe, like, see if there's, like, a way I can get these waypoints even by myself sometimes or something like that as well. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. Yeah, because this is just probably just gonna be seeing the inner parts of the facility. So I can see the map of how to get here, but then it's like when you click here, then it changes to here. I guess there's something here. When you click here. Like up there, I guess? How do we get up there? How did we get up there before? That's a better question. Is it Kuhenki stuff? Let's try going here again. And seeing if there's a way to get around here. I just want to see, because again, I think I might just avoid these ones just for today. Just so we don't have to think about it too much. Oh, a big one for me. Actually, I know it's like almost impossible now for Lantern Rite, but maybe if like there's some way to get Columbina back before the summer event, I'm not sure, you never know. Like, House of the Hearth interacting with the Marionette and Columbina. Or even like just seeing like a tea party between like, you know, with Tartaglia there as well. I think that'd be really sweet. But yeah, just to see that dynamic there as well, and now like to see... Because again, there's a big chance we'd like the Fatui are going to change forever, right? In these upcoming acts, especially with what I think it is an elevator situation, is it? Maybe, just especially with what was said by this is where Wilhelmina betrayed us, you know, this big moon fragment. But yeah, like I think that would be my favorite thing. The idea of seeing all the House of Hearth people and the Fatui. I think having like Fatui members all together as well. Because again, when we say the Fatui is going to change, we know they're going to change forever because. You know, there's a chance that either Dottore is going to have the ire of the Tsaritsa because he defied the Tsaritsa, or it's going to be the Knave who's going to have the ire of the Tsaritsa. So either or, when it comes to this thing, is going to have like a situation where they're going to have like a switch up. With Columbina not being there, there's a chance as well the Marionette might not be a part of the you know, again, maybe not part of it, but will be punished in some way. There's going to be like an interesting dynamic with the Fatui. So it might be interesting to see all those characters like when as possible now. At least like we got to see the Marionette with like because we already saw the House of the Hearth with the Marionette. We saw that. But I mean just like in a very like casual setting. You know what I mean? In like a tea party or a party or like the Lantern Rite or something like that. Now, I know like it's a big sell to put a Harbinger in the Lantern Rite. It's a big sell to have summer events for the Harbinger because not everyone loves the Harbingers, not everyone's a fan of the Harbingers to make sense. But that's just what I would want to see. Like a Fatui level stuff with Tartaglia, with and not the other ones, just like Tartaglia, Knave, Columbina, the Marionette, and the House of the Hearth. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna yeah, we're gonna go explore these other areas first. I think that's the best way to go about it. So, here, for example, we'll get this one over here, and then we'll keep going after that. Yeah, okay, so the next question is from Hypernova, and they asked, are there any crazy Genshin theories, or crazy theories about Genshins that you have? I'm not, as you guys know, I'm not a big theory crafter. I'm the type of person that likes to take the story with me, and like I keep it in my pocket, and like, or like I guess I go into the story's pocket, let the story take it with me. So I don't usually always have like this thing where like I know exactly, you know, the best, you know, like, how do I say it? I don't always have like thoughts on like, oh, this might happen in the future, this might happen in the future. I like the lore, but I don't go too heavy into it sometimes as well. But like, one of the things that like I've heard over and over again is the idea of the Paimon is some secret god, or Paimon is like, you know, working for the Heavenly Princess. I've heard Paimon is evil. I've heard all these different like things. And I think the reason I say this is because like my crackpot theory about Paimon sometimes is that she will be more important than we think. But I think that and maybe it's not a crazy theory, this is just like a you could say it's like a hope, but like, my theory is that Paimon is more important than you think. My theory is Paimon is going to be like, almost like a central point in like, you know, at some point in the story, we're going to have characters be like, some really important character be like, well, you've had that power with you all along. And then they look at Paimon and they're like, what? And like, Paimon has been like containing some power, containing something else. And Aether's like, oh my god, like I've had this person with me this whole time, this like powerful entity. And we're gonna have a big story where Paimon's bawling her eyes out. Paimon doesn't know who she is or what she is. And I know again this is coming to more of the emotional stuff rather than the theory stuff, but like, what I would like to happen at least in that moment, after we find out that Paimon, again, I think it's gonna be like something like she is like this device that keeps us like tethered to the world or something like that, you know, or something like that. Not device, but like she has like some power within her. She's a fragment of someone else's power.
This treasure hunt.
But what I would like to see out of that is, in the end, I would like Paimon to be like, I don't know who I am now. But then,
By royal decree.
Aether says a quote from Paimon that is like so, you know, it's just a normal thing she says all the time. But I think there's a reason why, like, again, my theory maybe revolves more around like the fact that she says it this way all the time. She goes, Paimon is Paimon, right? She says that all the time. And I think the way, like, you know, you could look at it as like people saying, well, yeah, the reason she probably says it is just because it's a funny, quirky thing. But what if it's like also a situation where like, it's like, it's not only just like Paimon, oh, is this a doorway to get in? Maybe this is the way you get into the facility. It might just be a situation as well where it's not just like, oh, Paimon is Paimon. Oh, you can get in the facility as well. Okay, interesting. But is that like to the top, maybe? It's not just... Oh, wait, it's a secret? And so Aether kind of like, what the hell? Is this a quest of some kind? Me asking that question 300 times. So it's sealed shut for some reason? Interesting. So we can't fully explore the facility, or maybe we can, we just need something else? But yeah, I think that the reason they have, along with again, there's two reasons. Obviously just the quirky thing, but also Paimon saying Paimon's Paimon is for like this big moment at the end where like Paimon goes, you know, where Aether goes, yeah, Paimon's just Paimon. You know, when she's asking who she is, when she's, you know, afraid of who she is. Cause like I again, as I said, I understand it's just a quirky thing. I understand it's just like, oh, it's so cute. She says Paimon's Paimon all the time. It's so cute. But it also could be a situation where it's a part of the bigger, grander story, I guess. I don't know. That's my thing. It's a take on the whole thing of Paimon is this creature. I think Paimon is going to be important, but I think that it's going to end up with like, you know, it'd be more just like she has like something in her, like a fragment in her or something like that is super important. And it's going to be a story more about connection. And I think everyone's going to be pretty pissed about it. I think no matter what, whatever the reveal of Paimon is going to be, I think that people are either... There's people who, let's be honest, there's people... If I know how YouTube works, there's people who are already... They have the script written about how, you know, they have just said the words and they're going to replace a few words of how, like... We waited this long for this reveal, and this is what we get? Seriously, Genshin? That's what I'm saying. Again, I don't know if that's how people make videos about Genshin, but that's how people make videos about video games now, so maybe that is the case. Like, so no matter what, people are gonna be disappointed. And again, some people will be literally disappointed, but some people are just gonna be disappointed because, like, you know, nothing can live up to the ideas in their head of what they have for this Paimon stuff, you know? But for me, like, I just think it's gonna, like, whatever the end of this arc of the story is gonna be is, in the end, it's gonna be Lumine and Aether together, you know, finally reuniting fully. But it's also going to be a thing where, like, it's Paimon somehow reassuring who she is. Paimon is Paimon. I think that quote is way more important than we even think, you know? I think it's going to be way more important. That's my take on it anyway. Golden Mars asks, I'm not sure if someone has already asked this question before, so I hope I don't ask again. Why did you choose Genshin of all the other games you could have played? Did something about it catch your eyes? What happened with Genshin was, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I played it back in 2020 for like 3 minutes. Like, I can even show you my other account, my main account. Like, my character's name was Maka. I went into it, and I remember at the time, it was a situation where, like, I was, like, very closed-minded to, like, gacha style games and stuff, I guess, too. Because, like, again, like, let's be honest here. From the outside, a lot of people still judge Genshin by not knowing Genshin. And I think I never was hateful about it. I never was like, oh, Genshin's stupid anime girl game. I never was saying that, or like, oh, a big waifu simulator. I played Genshin back in, look at these winding areas, back in 2020 for like 2 minutes. And I had so many other games to play at the time that I was like, okay, I can leave this behind. Like, and I don't know what, like, it's so weird. You can look at my other account. It's so weird. Like how I played it for like 3 minutes, saw the opening cutscene, and was like, okay, I don't need to play the rest of this. Like, and the reason why that's so weird to me is, like, and people are probably gonna be like, oh, that's okay, Calvin. Like, it's not like that big of a deal. But it's so weird to me because, like, I feel like now, like, and by the way, I didn't go around being like, this game freaking sucks, by the way. This is no, you know, because people do that sometimes. People judge the games from the outside. But it was one of those situations where, like, I did unjudge it fairly from the outside. And I think that for me personally, like, I ended up being, it was a situation where I was like, you know, oh, this game was probably just like, you know, some gacha game. So from the outside, I was just like, I'll download it because, like, a few people were like, you should download and try it. And then I didn't end up trying it. So it's one of those situations where, like I think it was like, I'll download because people were saying it. Then I was like, no, I don't want to play this game. And I played like 3 minutes and just stopped. And like when I look back at it now, it's like so silly because I think it was like, it's so weird now when you look at it. I'm like, I played Mondstadt, right? And I was like, this is incredible. And little did I know how incredible this was going to get. You know what I mean? Little did I know like how amazing this was going to get. Where's the waypoint, by the way? Is it on a pedestal somewhere? Oh, cool. When I played Genshin back in last year for the first time with you guys, like, there was not even like a knowledge of how the game worked. I thought it was all gameplay mostly. I thought it was mostly gameplay. So I thought this was gonna be an ongoing game I can maybe like play like every once in a while. There's the waypoint up there, is it? And I wouldn't even have to like, you know, think about it. I just pop it in and you just do like a few gameplay daily stuff or whatever, or you do like some stuff like you do it like in other online type games, and that's it. Like, and then you don't have to think about it like really that much. And then when I got into like the story stuff, I was like, oh my god, this is actually like really like. And even when I met Amber, I still had this thought in my head of like, this is really cool. But I was like, oh, this is probably an avenue to get to that gameplay stuff. And then you realize slowly and slowly, you're like, oh, this is absolutely incredible. And it's crazy I realized that in, oh, this is how you get up there. It's crazy that I realized that in, is that how you get up there? No, maybe not. It's crazy that I realized that in, I thought that in Mon, because I never knew what was going to happen. Because I think the thing that solidified, because I already like was really loving the exploration and on like seeing the world building, because then I was so amazed by the world building. But what really surprised me, like, more than anything was, like, obviously the Vaan stuff was incredible. That story was incredible. And then, like, it was the end of Liyue where I was like, because I was like, oh, this is cool. That child character's cool. And, like, you know, Ningguang is really cool. And all these characters are really cool. Like, I was having such a fantastic time with this game. So I was already, like, in love with the game. Like, because I love the exploration. I love the characters you met so far. I was so in love with like the story and stuff like this too. And then like what solidified it forever, it was like there's no going back now. There's no going back was like the Liyue story. I was like, okay, there's no going back. It's done forever. But in terms of what caught my eye again, it's like it literally was just like again being more open-minded as time went on. I think I went through like people like hating on Shenmue without even like, you know, playing it. And I then had this thought process of like, you know, well, like back in the day, like I judged Genshin unfairly from the outside. And I now know what it's like when people judge Shenmue unfairly from the outside. You know what I mean? So I got to a stage where I was like, I'd be a bit of a hypocrite, you know, if I didn't just try it. And the idea was just try one episode, see what happened, and you know, they say like, you know, the rest is history, and I feel like that's what's like with Genshin. It really was just that's what it was. I judged it unfairly back in 2020 without even playing it. I saw people suggesting it and was like, okay, maybe we might try it out. Yeah, that's all the waypoints I kind of like want to get here, because I think we'd have to go into the facility to get the other ones. Yeah. 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 That's cool. Where's this? Where is this? Huh? Oh, that's really cool. Let's check that out. Okay, to finish this, I judged it unfairly in 2020. I didn't play it in 2020. I played a bit of it. Again, you can see my account. I'm literally like in the first area still, because I was like, okay, I don't really want to play this, like, you know, like this gacha game that, like, you know, I probably won't even like, you know, like playing after a bit. And then I saw people suggesting it years later, over and over again. People were like, okay, you should play Genshin Impact. You should play Genshin Impact. And it's one of those situations where, like, when, like, if enough people are, we should probably go for this way, shouldn't we? If enough people are suggesting something, at some point, you'd like, it's like one of those things where it's like, look, it's like, yeah, people can suggest this all the time, and you have to play what you like. But it's like, maybe we'll try play this. Maybe we'll try play Genshin, you know? And it's one of those things where, like, again, as I said, even when I was playing it, I thought that it still was like just like a gameplay focused, like, you know, online game. And then I kept playing it, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. Oh, wait, this Deval and stuff is so cool. Oh my god, these characters are so fun. Oh, this exploration is incredible. And then when I finished the Liyue Archon quest completely, I was like, okay, there's literally no going back. It's impossible for you to go back now. Once we did that battle on the harbor with Osiris, it was done. I was done forever. Because I was already like really in love with the game. I was already planning on like doing everything in the game. But it was like, this is like one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. So yeah, it was just like, honestly, like righting some wrongs of the past, being more open-minded about games. Because here's the thing, I wasn't always like super open-minded and like, you know, pleasant when it came to games. Like I feel like, you know, if you talk to like my friends, like they'd say like, oh yeah, Calvin's like, you know, Calvin will try a game and be very fair about a game. But I feel like when I was like a teenager, like I was probably like, you know, one of those people that was like, that looks like it sucks, that looks stupid, that looks dumb, I'm not trying that. It's like, well, have you even tried it? I'm not trying it. Why should I try it? You know what I mean? But I think like, you know, playing through like games, like, and the channel as well, like, holy crap, like if you know, because even if you go back and like older playthroughs sometimes, like I feel like my, you know, I'm talking about like, you know, 8 years ago, you'll probably see me be like a bit more cynical about some stuff, you know? But over time, like, it's like, I think it's like playing so many amazing games and like getting to talk about them and getting to play through them, and then in real life getting to play more genres and play more games really made me just like open up more and more. But obviously there's still gonna be always a hint of like prejudice people have about stuff too, and people still have that about Genshin. That's why I'm always like, you know, don't be like my thought process back then. I want to shake people and be like, you don't know what you're missing. Whenever people watch Genshin trailers and like or hear about Genshin, I hear it in podcasts all the time that I listen to. They're like, oh, like, you know, this is that anime girl game, the anime waifu game, and you're like, you don't, please, please, like, understand what you were saying. Please understand, like, the game that you're dissing here is like, and especially like, when I see JRPG fans like me, like, be like, oh, I'd never play Genshin. It's like, you were like, for free. Look at this crazy creature. For free, you will get something that is like so incredible that you'll love forever, that you'll fall in love with and never be able to like forget about, that you'll love for the rest of your life. So this is like something you have to kill with Pyro, I guess. So should we like warp away and like use a Pyro character of some kind? I don't know if I have like, do I have like
Let's light it up. Coming at ya.
a strong pyro influence with these characters? I don't know. This is a really interesting looking character though. Who are my pyro characters, really? I guess Princess Retinue. Oh, Hu Tao, of course, as well. But like, I'd be worried with yeah. We could try Princess Retinue, and we should maybe keep Benny on the team for now because of the pyro stuff. Possibly. Yep. But yeah, I have no problem saying that I judge Genshin unfairly. I have no problem saying that. And now I can't imagine my life without it. I can't imagine a time and space where like I don't love Genshin. I can't imagine a world in which like I didn't play Genshin. You know what I mean? And like to me that's like, you know, such a fun thing as well though. Because I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong sometimes, because again, like Shenmue as a series, I remember originally when it was like the remasters were announced, I remember like I said like, look, those games look so outdated. I'm going to like people who like love those games, but they're going to end up like disappointed in them because they're not going to hold up. And I remember I said this, I was like, these games are not going to hold up. Because again, all I heard was like people saying Genshin's Shenmue's outdated, Shenmue's this and that as well. And it's one of those situations where like I don't mind being wrong. And in this case I was wrong, because then I played Shenmue and was like, oh, this is one of my top 20 favorite games of all time. And like, which is so funny when you think about it now, it's like there's a world where I just went with my preconceived notions about Shenmue, which we all do, by the way. We all judge some stuff sometimes. And things like this as well. There we go. It's not just me, but like admitting you're wrong and then like, you know, finding a new love. That's what happened with Genshin. That's what happened with Shenmue. And now here I am playing with you guys, and I couldn't be happier. And people might say, well, Calvin also was like, you know, the first video of Genshin was like your most successful, and it still is my most successful video ever, 100%. Like, it's over 100,000 people have watched it. And people was like, that's why you kept playing. And here's the thing, it's like 110%, like, we totally like went into the second episode being like, okay, people want to see this, you know? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, of course I was like, yeah, like, oh my god, people definitely want to see this. Let's check it out. Or there's also a waypoint here. But I think it's one of those situations as well where like two things can be true at once, you know what I mean? Where I played Genshin, it got like 100,000 people watching it. People really liked it. And I had a fun time with the first episode, so I was like, okay, let's do it again. Like, why not? Let's do it again. And then it's one of those situations where like, I was like, okay, I'll do 2 videos. Okay, I'll do 3 videos. And you fall in love with it over time. Like, again, it's one of those situations where, like, you know, I remember, like, early on, that was one of the things that, like, I really, you know, and I think those people, like, wanted that to happen. Like, I had, like, you know, again, I'm talking about, like, comments here, but again, it's one of those things where I can laugh about. I wasn't frustrated because I knew it wasn't true. But I had comments at one point being like, you know, and I think probably, I think every new Genshin player gets those comments, right? Because I think sometimes I've heard, and maybe I'm like, you know, you can talk about this well, guys, that some people do start Genshin, but they don't actually finish it. They play the first few things, and then some people just watch the trailers or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. You play how you want to play. But I did get people being like, you're going to stop playing Genshin eventually. You know? You're going to stop being into Genshin eventually. You're only playing it because, like, people are really into it or whatever. And it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I did episode 2. Of course. Because I was having fun. And because, of course, people were like, oh, this is awesome. Like, what type of idiot, like, plays a game? That'd be like me playing, like, No, I'm Not a Human, right? This year. I mean, like, I love this. And actually, a better example would be, like, just recently played the Stanley Parable. That's like me playing Stanley Parable episode 1. It doing really well. And I had a blast playing it. And then being like, well, I don't want people to think I'm playing this just for views. Like, it's like, what? That'd be so dumb. That'd be so stupid. And I think the reason why, like, you know, again, I understand that there is like probably there is like a thing with Genshin that some people play it and, you know, they understand that it does, you know, but like the thing I'd say now is that like, I went through like, you know, hours of world quests, you know, not as much as other people did as well. And even now I feel like, you know, it's not like, you know, Genshin is like, you know, the most crazy popular thing, most popular thing on my channel, but it's like, I freaking love it. I freaking love Genshin. I'm glad I caught my eye. And again, I want to understand, whenever I mention a comment from the past, it's one of those situations where it's more funny now to me. Like it's not a situation where I'm like, oh, they said I wouldn't like Genshin. Like, I laughed at the time as well, because I think, like, I knew for a fact that, like, oh, he had a flask that he was drinking. That's so cool. I knew for a fact that, like, I was going to prove them wrong eventually. Because, again, the prediction was, like, oh, like, you know, you're going to stop playing, like, after, like, you know, Fontaine. You're going to stop playing now. When you catch up, you're going to get burnt out and not play anymore. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. And, like, I think that, like, you know, the reason why I never took those to heart, I just remember them as being funny things, is because I knew it wasn't true. And I knew it was going to prove those people, like, wrong anyway. Like, it's one of the situations where you could spend, like, hours, like, being like, no, I love Genshin, like, replying to people. But the best way to just reply is just be like, well, here we are 2 years later, and there is literally not a sign in my heart of stopping. I'm playing, you know, Honkai Star Rail, which, you know, right now my channel is more popular than Genshin. But have I stopped playing Genshin? Have I moved Honkai Star Rail to, like, you know, to doing 4 videos of Honkai Star Rail a week? No. No, I have not. Now, I say that because, like, I had the idea, like, eventually, like, maybe doing, like, 3 episodes of Honkai, but that's just because, like, people told me the next quest is really long. We'll see how that goes. But that's not because I'm like, get out of here, Genshin, because I think still we'll do 2 Genshin videos a week whenever there's, like, an update. No matter what, I want to make that clear. I'm talking about, like, when there's downtime, I'll do, like, 3 episodes of Honkai. There will be, no matter what, we're playing every Genshin update. No matter what. And we're still going to do that as well. As much as we can. Of course, there's going to be updates I'm probably, like, going to be not as interested in, but that's just not the way things go. But yeah, what caught my eye was literally just, like, people suggested it. People were like, this is the, and again, it's one of the situations where, like, I'm, you know, I love video games so much.
This is order.
But I'm also, like, not an idiot. Maybe sometimes I am. You know, it's just not just with Genshin. Like, people suggested Stanley Parable for months. Okay, let's play the Stanley Parable. Please, people suggested No, I'm Not a Human for months. Okay, I'll play No, I'm Not a Human. People suggested Dispatch. Okay, I'll play Dispatch. Like, you look at, like, it'd be so silly. It'd be so silly of me. You know? Imagine that did happen, though, by the way. Imagine I was like, oh, look at this guy's so cool. Imagine I was legitimately like, oh, man, I don't want people to think that, like, I'm just, like, I joined the Genshin bandwagon. I better stop playing now that I've just beaten Mondstadt. You know? It's like, it'd be such a sad way of looking at things, right? It'd be such a sad way of looking at things.
We go. No, my sword.
Order guide you.
Let's light it up.
I hope you guys are glad that I kept playing. I hope you guys are glad. You're gonna come in here, we can fight. I hope you guys are really glad I kept playing.
Everybody stand back.
Because actually, can I say that was a worry? Oh my god! Oh god! Can I say this as well? And now I probably understand as well where, like, you know, where that thought process came from. Because, like, even people that are being nice about it, like, were genuinely like people that, like, wanted me to do everything were still like, oh, can you, like, please get to the Archon quest really quickly? Not because they were like, you know, I just want to see the Archon quest. Some people were legitimately just like, I'm worried you're gonna stop playing. I'm worried you're not gonna see this Archon quest. But I think, you know, when that stopped, you know, when that feeling stopped, I think it was after Sumeru. After Sumeru, people stopped, like, saying, oh, I'm worried he's gonna stop playing. I'm worried he's gonna stop playing. Because Sumeru had the Aranara quest. And I think when people saw me do the Aranara quest, they were like, okay, you know, he's not gonna stop. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's, like, one of the most fun things about it as well, is, like, when people saw me do the Aranara quest, I noticed that specifically, it was like, okay, yeah, we have we have locked Calvin into a lifetime deal with Genshin. You know? Which I totally, and I just thought of that correlation now, but I remember, like, it was around that time when, like, after Sumeru, I remember people were like, they stopped doing the comments of like, I'm worried he's gonna stop, I'm worried he's gonna quit, I'm worried he's not gonna play. Yeah, because not because they thought I was like a quitter or they thought I didn't. Like there is probably a real worry with like people who love this game to be like, what if like this guy I really enjoy watching this stuff never gets to Fontaine? What if he never gets to Natlan? What if I never see him react to the Farina quests and stuff like this as well? What if I never see him react to any of this stuff? And you could say like, well, Calvin, then people thought you were going to quit after. And it's not everyone, by the way. I mean, like, it wasn't people thinking I was going to quit. It was people worried I was going to get burnt out and just stop playing. You know, people were worried. It's so worried that like they were still like, oh, I'm so worried you might not get to Sumeru. I'm so worried you might not get to this. But I think when they saw me still doing the R&R quest, I think people were probably like, okay. we own this guy now. He's Genshin. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally. Guys, that's gonna do with this exploration video. I've explored like kind of like what I want to explore. This area probably is gonna be a little bit hard to explore, trying to get in there as well. I think we've looked at all these locations here as well, as much as possible as well. Nod Cry is beautiful. Nod Cry is amazing. If you didn't get your question answered, by the way, don't feel bad about it. It's one of those situations where it's not like legitimately every question was really, really good. But it's one of those situations where like if I chose every question, I'd be here for a while. So I'm going to say thank you so much to my patrons at the highest tier. Oh, wait, to say what's happening next, I am working on the During quest. But it's going to take a while. You know, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Because the way I'd record things, it's going to be over 5 days, and I record different videos all the time, so it's going to be like next week when I can do the During quest, but we're going to upload it all anyway. Yeah, it's going to take a bit of time. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you guys for watching this as well. If anything we've learned in this video is that you have Calvin for lifetime in Genshin. You have Calvin forever in Genshin, and I'm never leaving this beautiful world. Oh my, this music's so amazing. It's so good. And that to not judge things by their covers. Or not even their covers. It wasn't even their covers, just like preconceived notions. Thank you so much to Tyfire2, Jamie Bull, Janet Banana, The Ghost Inazuma, Felicius Felix, Yule, Radish, Anusta, Lynx Markey, Assassin, Troop Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Leon, Hike Asperian, Jared Beanham, Neo Sharite, and at the highest tier on my YouTube, Rogue7, Blasco, and Lucinagi. I'll see you guys so soon. Let's do the thing. Perfect.